Hey guys, wow, this idea just hit me, bro. But like, I'm making this video for people who are trying to join the Space Force, but don't know about any of the jobs that are out there for the Space Force. Specifically, enlisted, not officer, not civilian, because I'm not going for either of those. So, like, I don't got a lot of info on those. I don't got a lot of info on the like enlisted jobs either, but I got more than what I could find. Um, because if you try looking up, the whole reason I'm trying to make this video is because if you try looking up like on YouTube, for instance, Space Force jobs, you get stuff like reasons to join the Space Force. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched this one, but like if you keep scrolling, it's like you get ads and stuff, but like you don't get like a definitive like video where it's like jobs you can do in the Space Force type shit, you know? Um and even this is the like official Space Force website for jobs you can do, and this doesn't even have all like the jobs and stuff. And in my personal opinion, like it's cool, but like you know what, I was gonna say it doesn't do a good job describing them, but it kind of does. But I just wanted to try and make an informational video, um, because I was speaking to my recruiter. I actually got a bunch of papers for an updated list of the Space Force jobs. Like, there is different from everything that is on this website. So I just wanted to like do a quick rundown. Probably not the most enjoyable video to watch, but I figured I might as well throw something out there that's informative for people like me that are trying to figure out like what you can do in the Space Force. The website, I was gonna say it did do a good job, but if I'm being honest, it does do a good job like describing some of the jobs. But this is like a more updated form. Anyways, so I have these papers because while I was speaking to my recruiter, Sergeant Reed, the Space Force recruiter, Sergeant Tuttle, reached out to her and emailed her saying like, "Yo, like, basically like, this is like the new rundown of like the jobs you can do and stuff, enlisted wise, um, which is kind of different from this website." So I'll just start off from the top. The top one is well, you can see it on here, Space Systems Operator. On here, it says Space Systems Operations. Um, but from reading the description on the paper and from on here, let me just click on it, just open it up. They're pretty much the same thing. Um, I was just about to say, oh, you won't be able to hear it, but if you go on to this website, it has like ambient music. Is low key fire, bro. It is low key fire. But I'm just gonna mute it so I can lock in. So Space Systems Operations, I think also known as 5S031. It is currently the highest in demand job. Focus, lock, whatever. Just take my word for it, bro. Just take my word for it. It's the highest need right now. So if you were to go into Space Force trying to get this job, you're more than likely to get it. Because from what I've seen, from all the research I've seen, all the branches, like you'll get to choose which jobs you want, but you have to choose like top five, and then they'll try to work with your like wants and needs. But at the end of the day, if they need you to do a certain job more, then they'll pick that job for you. I think that's how that works. So if you were already coming in wanting to do space systems operations, you're in luck because that's what they need right now. So you're like 99% gonna get the job. But anyways, I'm gonna just read the overview on this one. Um, because it's basically the same thing. No, I'll leave this up here for you to read, but I'll read the paper because it's like the more up to date type thing. So what it says for Space Systems operations is that it manages, plans, or performs duties to develop, sustain, and enhance space capabilities to defend national interests from attack and to create effects in the space domain to achieve service, combatant command, and national objectives. Um, Conducts orbital warfare, space electromagnetic warfare, space battle management, and space access, and, and sustainment operations using established tactics, techniques, and procedures. So I just want to do a quick disclaimer. Just reading off that top thing, it's like a bunch of like I wouldn't say buzzwords, but it's got a lot of words that make it sound really cool. Um, Me personally, this is one of the top two jobs I want to do. It my first one was gonna be like a cyber job, like cybersecurity. But I'll get to it later. You need to do a test and reach a certain score to even be viable for that job in cyber defense. Um, and I didn't end up getting that score, so I might retake it. I might not. But even if I don't, I wanted space systems operations also anyway, so I'd be good. Um, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, so it uses space a lot, obviously, because it's a space force. But from my knowledge and from everybody's knowledge, joining the space force doesn't mean you actually go out into space. It's just you are operating on systems and like radars and such that help you that help us in the space domain with like satellites and satellite dishes and radios and stuff like that. You're not actually going to space, as far as me and the general public know, and my recruiter, and just what they've been saying. Maybe in the future, maybe in the future, maybe like 20 years from now, I don't know, you might be able to go actually up into space. But as of right now, like you're not going up to space. Um, so I'm gonna just scroll down to the career duties. You can read off that list. I'll read off here. It pretty much says the same thing, but again, it's a more up to date, so it has specific wording, and I want to make sure I give you the most accurate data. I might upload this on like a post on my YouTube channel, like just the papers. Um, and I might make this into a short, but honestly, it's like 2:30 in the morning, so I'll either just drop this video how it is, but I'm a, I think I figured out how to add chapters to the video, so just so you can speed up the process of watching my video and just go to a specific part you want to see it. Um, I'll try to add those in, and then or even just like timestamps and such. Um, but yeah, I'll probably like upload pictures of this form onto my channel. Um, so detects, identifies, and maintains orbital parameters on Earth satellite vehicles using optical and radar sensors. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what a lot of this stuff is. Like even when I was saying creates effects, I'm like the way the word effects is used is kind of weird to me. Um, I don't really know what that means. Honestly, let's look it up. You know what? Let's look it up. It's my video. I can do whatever I want. What does it mean to create effects? Produce or achieve the desired results. Make something happen. Okay, it's good to know. It's good to know. Information. Um, Protects friendly satellite communications and disrupts adversary satellite communications by operating defensive and offensive space control systems. So I don't know what it means by space control systems, but I'm literally on a computer, so I can look it up. Space control systems. Satellite attitude control, fine pointing, formation flying, orbital rendezvous, whatever the fuck, and reentry through Earth's atmosphere. Okay. Okay. detects and tracks missile launches using a variety of ground and space-based sensors, forwards information to appropriate command and control C2 agencies. I don't know what C2 is. I assume if I type in C2, I'm not going to get any result that makes sense for this. It might just be like a thing that you'll know when you know type thing, like when you're already in. Um, but honestly, this part right here detects and tracks missile launches. That's one of that was like the biggest reason why I wanted to get this job because I didn't want to do like a job where like I would go out and kill people. I wanted to do a job where like I would like more like protect to prevent death when this like as much as possible, you know? My favorite movie is Hacksaw Ridge, and that's just like really inspirational. It's about a guy, if you've never seen it, it's about a guy who like joins the military. Um, like I forget during which wartime, but he joins it as a medic, and he's like super Christian. I'm not Christian. I don't really follow a religion, but I'm not gonna get too much into that. Um, but this guy, he refuses to kill people. He refuses to even hold a gun. Um, and like it's a whole thing where like they almost kick him out for it. But like he saves so many of his like fellow soldiers' lives and stuff without killing anybody. And like he goes into like no man's land when nobody else will, and like brings back people that are like on the brink of death. And it's so inspirational. Like I've seen the movie like 7 times, bro. If you haven't watched it, it's genuinely my favorite movie. It's called Hacksaw Ridge. It features Andrew Garfield, um, W Spider Man, and yeah, just go check it out. I didn't want to join the military to like kill people, so this job seemed really good because I don't really want to do medical stuff, and I don't think there's medical stuff in the space force. Um, so this seemed like the best option, and it just sounds cool. Like if I'm walking down the street, somebody's like, "Oh, what you do in the military?" Space systems operations, boy. Like that's just tough, bro. That's just tough. Anyways, plans and executes satellite contacts, resolves emergencies, and performs satellite commanding during launch, early orbit, daily operations, and end of life testing. Performs launch and on orbit operations for military satellites. That's kind of crazy. Dude, I feel like if I get this job, if I decide to leave the military after my mandatory like years of service, I could dead ass work for NASA. You know what? Let's look that up. If you're wondering, or if you're just trying to get a job where like in the military where it'll also work out in the civilian life after, um, that it's better to do that research before you go into the recruiting office and during, so you can like ask them like, yo, like you got any more details on this, and also to like just do some research on like what companies will hire me if I have this job that I'm trying to get in the military and such like that. So I'll look it up for each job on here and try to see as much as I can in this video, like what places will hire you for like these specific jobs. Um, places, wait, jobs that hire space system operators. Space systems engineer. I don't know if that's the same thing, but that sounds like pretty good. This deadass is leaking my shit, bro. This deadass is leaking my shit. Uh, can I like honestly? Okay, bro. Like y'all already seen this shit, bro. That should be fine. 19 to $79 an hour is actually an insane range of pay. That is an insane range of pay, bro. Um, honestly. because I'm gonna try and work for NASA after the military. Let's see, NASA Space System Operator. Why did it send me to the Space Force website? I don't know. I don't want to do crazy deep research. Um, just general advice. Just try to look for jobs that will like, you know, hire you for like the job you did well in the military if you're looking to like leave after like certain years and stuff. Anyways, back to the description. This is gonna be a long video. Um, I might split it into parts. I know not a lot of people like long videos, especially if you're trying to get information, but that's why I'm trying to split the chapters. Um, I don't really want to be that type of guy that like milks out the content and makes multiple videos. One, because I'm just too lazy to edit that many videos when I could just do one take, and two, it's just kind of like why, you know. Anyways, plans and executes battle space characterization, technology demonstrations, and combat operations to deter and defeat on orbit adversarial threats. Performs C2 functions at numerous agencies such as the National Space Force Defense Center, Combined Space Operations Center, Regional Joint and Combined Air and Space Operations Centers, National Reconnaissance Operations Center, Missile Warning Center, and NORAD slash US Northcom Command Center. That sounds insane. I don't know any of these places, but just the names alone makes it seem like this job is extremely important. And like, if you want to feel like a big dog, I think this is the job for you, bro. Dude, National Space Defense Center, Combined Space Operations Center. Dude, this sounds insane. Anyways, ensures operational effectiveness and suitability of space capabilities through operational testing and evaluation, replicates adversary space capabilities to improve combat training and increase readiness to respond and counter threats against assets. So, for lack of a better term, that last part that I read seems kind of like if you ever done sports, kind of like a scrimmage type thing, like you kind of like simulate or like doing a fight in Smash Bros against a level 9 CPU. Like you're just trying to like do a simulation of like what could happen. Uh, but yeah, so that was it on this paper for space systems operations. Again, on here it says space systems operator. It's the same thing. Um, Here are the qualifications, guys. For the ASVAB, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Um, I did really good on the math and English parts. The only parts that I like was doing dog doodle on were the electrical part and the mechanical part and the shop part. Those ones are very bizarre for me because the shop part is like, oh, like what tools, like if you had like a grandpa or like an uncle or like or I mean, even like a grandma or an aunt or whatever, like just like a family member, an older family member that would like work in the garage, like just has a bunch of tools in the shed. They're quizzing you on that stuff for like the shop part. It's like, what does this buzzsaw looking thing do? Like, what what do you use for this certain screw type? Um, and then the electrical is like what does a switch do in an electrical circuit? And like how many gigajoules or whatever is running through this like electrical wire and stuff, and like or like what type of like wiring is the best for this, it's like the most conductive out of these options. And then the mechanical part is like what part in this like engine, what part of this engine does this do, or like where does combustion happen in the engine and stuff like that. Um, but I did really dog doo doo in those, and I still got a 90 on my ASVAB. I did the PICAT, and then which is an at home test. Guys, be honest with yourself. Do not cheat. They're telling you not to cheat. They don't have you upload a webcam or anything, but you have to take a confirmation test after you take the PICAT at home. So they'll know if you cheated. Or, if you did cheat, I guess it's not foolproof because if you did the PICAT and you were looking up the answers and then you just memorize the answers, I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm just saying it's not foolproof, but just be honest with yourself. Like, do not cheat. You have all the time in the world to be ready for it. You can study before you even show up to the recruiting office. You can study for the 30 days that you have access to the PICAT at home. Don't cheat yourself. Just study up and be honest. Um, and then after you take the PICAT, you have to go in person to take a confirmation test. It's just like a shorter version, and just like make sure you're like you weren't cheating. But I got a 90 on that, and I didn't even know any of the stuff for like I said, those three categories. I just did really good on English and math. Um, the ASAP is a whole thing. Depending on what job you went and which branch, they like determine which jobs you're qualified for by breaking down what parts you did good in on the ASVAB too. So just because you got like a good score on the ASVAB doesn't mean you got a good score for the specific thing, that they need you to be good at for the job that you want. So just a disclaimer. So qualifications, you need the color vision. From what I've seen, color vision, if you have like a color vision issue, that'll lock you out of a lot of jobs just in the military in general. That's what I've just heard. That's what I've seen on YouTube and stuff. So unfortunately, it is a thing you can't control. If you're born with that, it's kind of just, you kind of just gotta like, it's just it is what it is. Um, Completion of current national agency check with local agency checks. Okay, I think this is the background check. When you're joining this, I don't know what it is for the other branches because, like I said, I'm joining the Space Force and I'm not a fucking recruiter and I'm not an already in the military type thing. So all my information is just coming from my interactions with the recruiter for the Space Force. Um, I think this is the background check. If you're in the Space Force, it's mandatory for you to do a background check. I think I've talked about it before in other videos, but it's like an in-depth type thing, like where have you worked for the past 10 years, um, or up until like you were 16, or from 16 and up, um, like where were all your immediate family members born, and like their addresses and their phone numbers and like it's just a whole lot of things like who's somebody that has known you in high school, like who's somebody that's known you during times of like unemployment, who's known you, like who are your managers for your from your jobs and like their addresses and stuff. Like bro, addresses for everybody, for every name you put on there you need an address and a phone number, and I think an email for certain ones. Let me drink some water. I feel like my voice doesn't feel like right. I don't know if it's because I have both earphones in or what. Oh no! Literally right under here it says background investigation. That's the background check. So I don't know what this is. I don't know what this credit check. I guess it was really interesting. You need like good credit to like not good credit, but you can't have bad credit to join the military. To make sure you don't have like too much debt on you either. Um, Completion of basic military training. Everybody's gonna be doing that anyways. Must be a U.S. citizen. I've heard. Obviously, I keep saying this. I've never been in a situation. I'm a U.S. citizen, but I've heard people join the military to get a U.S. citizenship. So I don't know like the exact details. Like if this is like you have to be a citizen before. If this is like like if you're trying to get your citizenship, you can work in the space force. But you need the reason why you do the background check for Space Force is because of what you're working with. Literally satellites, literally information on information on information. You need to do this background check so you can get top level clearance, top secret clearance. I don't want to use the word top secret clearance because like it's just like a movie thing for me. It's like if I'm wrong, then I'm trying to. It's like people. I feel like people would think like I'm trying to make myself seem cooler than I am, but it's like I think it is top secret clearance. I don't know what that means, but it just sounds very 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 important. Like yo, like I'm a big dog because I got this shit. But I think that's why they want to make sure like like you're with the U.S. and not like insert foreign country because I don't want to single like a certain one out. Insert foreign country that's trying to steal our data, you know. So this one you might dead ass have to just be a U.S. citizen and not join the Space Force to get a citizenship. But I don't know. I'm not sure because during the background check it asked if you were a citizen and stuff like that. So they'll probably know if you're legit anyways. But yeah, it must be between ages 17 and 42. So the YouTubers that I watch, the military YouTubers I watch, I've heard like I think Jody with a Y. He said the Air Force, the oldest you could be to join is 35. But my recruiter also said that stuff updates all the time in the military, so this might be the most current up to date thing. Um, yeah, for those of you who don't know, um, the Space Force basic military training or boot camp is 7.5 weeks, so basically 2 months. Um, and then for whatever job you have, you when you go to AIT Advanced Individual Training, it might be different a different name for the Space Force. It also depends on what job you're getting is how long you'll be there. Um, so 75 days, 2 months. Also, you can't use a calculator for the ASVAB. By the way, it's all in the dome, all in the Chrome, the dome. So 2.5 months. So basically another boot camp length, just like slightly longer. All right. So that's Space Systems Operations Operator. What's next? So the main big difference that I've seen on here is that the cyber operation. Let's see. Cyber operations is now split. It's split between cyber defense and cyber systems. So I'll just have this right here. Um, I think this cyber operations is supposed to be cyber defense. This is the job where you need to take the EDP, like joining the Space Force. You need to take the EDPT. Um, I think a 50 is passing, but it's 120 questions in 90 minutes, and they're all like boom, 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 boom. Like how much can you get done and how fast and how much is correct. I think I got a 58, so basically barely passing. But I think it's two above the average score, so I'm above average, buddy. But yeah, you need a 70 to do this. Now I didn't complete all the questions, um, but I imagine if I like was like, all right, I'm down to like 3 minutes. Let me just speed run like answering these questions, like just placing down random answers. I might have low key got a higher score, but we'll never know. The only way to know if I'll get a higher score is if I retake it, you know. But yeah, for those of you out there, you need a 70. There are resources on the internet to help you like prepare for the test. Like they'll give you like practice questions of what will be on the test. And from the videos that I've seen, it's all pretty accurate to what you're actually going to be doing on the test. So check them out. Just look up like EDPT, like practice or like questions and stuff like that. So cyber defense, also known as 5C031D. So responds to disruptions within the pertinent domain, um, to mitigate immediate and potential threats. Uses mitigation, preparedness, and response and recovery approaches to maximize survival of life, preservation of property, and information security. Investigates and analyzes relevant response activities and evaluates the effectiveness of and improvements to existing practices. It has a code on here. Um, I didn't have to sign what was it, an NDA or whatever, the papers that like you cannot speak of what happened here. So I'm just gonna read it off. It says DCWF code 531. I don't know what that means, but again, I'm gonna upload these papers to my channel. So if you want to do your own research on that, you can. Yeah. Uses data collected from. Oh, let me slow down. So our defense relies on cybersecurity across blah blah blah. Career duties. So that you can read along while I'm reading along. Uses data collected from a variety of cyber defense tools, um, e.g., IDS alerts, firewalls, network traffic logs, that's a, and parentheses, to analyze events that occur within their environments for the purposes of mitigating threats. Conducts threat and vulnerability assessments and determines deviations from acceptable configurations on guys, just look up cybersecurity. It's just cybersecurity. Um, but they also collect, process, preserve, analyze, and present computer-related artifacts in support of network vulnerability. Yeah, it's just cyber. It's just cybersecurity. Honestly, I don't know why I was reading it off like it was gonna be something like what's cyber like you could dead look up cybersecurity, and that's what cyber defense is gonna be. Um, that is a great job for you to get if you want to have a job that'll transition to like normal life outside of being in the military. Everybody will hire a cyber defense specialist. Everybody. All right. Education. So this, if you go on the website, it says courses in science in STEM are desirable. Emphasis on desirable, not mandatory. As far as I know, if you're going in as enlisted, you don't need prior experience for any job in the military because they will teach you how to do your job. Um, so this might put you up on like the priority list if you let them know that you have courses in STEM. For like just in case like somebody else out there is also trying to get a cyber defense job for the Space Force. This will probably put you higher up on the totem pole, but it is strictly desirable, not mandatory. An associate's degree or higher in relevant fields and or information technology certifications are also beneficial. Also beneficial. So you don't need to go to college, community college, and get an associate's degree before you pull up to the recruiter's office and say you want a cybersecurity job. It is just desirable. It's like if you go to a job and you have like previous experience for the job you're trying to get at your new job. It's desirable, not mandatory for certain jobs. Um, this one you need a general minimum. Oh, yeah, yeah. So this is what I was talking about. So let's go back. So see this. Obtain a qualifying ASVAB score, electronic minimum score of 60. This one, like I said before, the ASVAB gives you a general score, but it gets broken down into different categories. So this one, you need a minimum score of 60 in the electronics part to get this job. Whereas this one, you need a general score of 60 to 64 on the ASVAB based on specialty. I don't know what this means. Maybe it is broken down specifically, but this one just says general score. Where it gets specific is, like I said, the EDPT score. You need a 70 on that. Requirements. So yada 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 yada. Yeah, it's just the same thing. All right. Now, where it gets also split up is cyber systems, because it, like I said, they broke up cyber operations on the website into cyber defense and cyber systems. So cyber systems, also known as 5C031S, installs, configures, troubleshoots, and maintains servers, system configurations, hardware and software, and related cyber systems to ensure their confidentiality, integrity, and availability, administers server-based system security, yada yada yada, consults on networks, yada yada yada, conducts threat and vulnerability assessments, and determines deviations from acceptable configurations or policies. So basically, cyber defense is like working with using the software to actively defend, and cyber systems is like being like a hardware engineer. You're like you know like cyber systems is like you're building the computer, and cyber defense is like you're using the computer. Um, that's kind of what I'm gathering from this. Um, yeah. All right. All right. Moving on. Moving on, class. Moving on, class. Okay, so the ones that are like legit just not on here, I'm not going to discuss first. I'm going to discuss the ones that are like on here already and like just read off what I have for them on here because there's a lot of different stuff on here. All right. So, all source intelligence analysis. This one is the lowest in demand job. Honestly, genuinely, I don't know why. I was not interested in anything other than the space systems operations and the cyber defense, or cyber operations. I told my recruiter I would do any job, but those ones were my top priority. Like I'm not gonna be the guy where like, oh, like none of the jobs you wanted are available. Um, and I'll be like, oh well, I'll just wait till they are available. Like if it just so happened that like you know, they weren't desirable, I would have taken any job to be honest. I just want to join the Space Force. I don't know what popped up on here. Y'all will be watching the video, so y'all can pause, rewind, and see what it said up here. But it was someone tracking some stuff. What the heck? Um, yeah, so all source intelligence analysis. With any mission, there are many moving parts and info coming from dozens, if not hundreds, of sources. Oh, wait, let me put this in a new tab. There we go. What the heck? Yo, this website is fire, bro. This website's fire, bro. Um, from dozens, if not hundreds, of sources across the globe and stratosphere. The all source intelligence analyst's duty is to collect and dissect raw data and assess viable intelligence across various sources. They evaluate and ensure all intelligence activities are accurate and optimized to carry out each mission from early development to completion. So it's like if you have like a writing assignment in English class at school, and like they tell you to like hand your paper over to have somebody review it and stuff. I think this is what this is. All right. Enables and feeds all aspects of Space Force missions in support of acquisitions, test, and evaluation and operations by discovering, collating, analyzing. What is collating? Hold up. What is collating? My son, what is collating? To compare refers to comparing, collecting, and arranging data or printed sheets in a specific sequence. Oh, like spreadsheeting, I think. Analyzing, evaluating, and disseminating intelligence information. Produces all source intelligence using multiple disciplines, including signal intelligence, also known as SIGINT, geospatial intelligence, also known as GEOINT, human intelligence, also known as HUMINT, measurement and signature intelligence, also known as MASSINT, cyber and open source intelligence, also known as OSINT. Um, all source intelligence. I want to see what jobs would have this. U.S. intelligence career. This is lame. Not the job, but the website I just clicked on. Um, up to threat analysis, threat intelligence analysis. 120,000 a year. That is insane. That is insane. So on Indeed, it shows that there's jobs that have all source intelligence analysis like hiring, but they don't give you information like pay wise, such. Border Patrol. What the heck, bro? These job searching websites are so ass. Like I just gotta say it, bro. Like they're so dog. They are so dog. What jobs hire Asset Mark Incorporate, USAA, Upgrade Incorporate? I don't know. Holy shit. Dude, is it really gonna be hard to find a job outside of the military? I don't know. I'm trying to get my degree while I'm in the military. So my mom told me if you gotta. Oh wait. Oh, this is a .gov website. Peak official source. U.S. intelligence community careers. So go to this website if you're trying to see what jobs you can get with this. I think. Um, I think. You know what? Let's just do. Let's see how much money these jobs will make. How much money does a space systems operator make? Space systems operator as of February 24th, 2025. That's fucking recent. The average hourly pay, emphasis on average, be better than average, guys. Um, for space systems operator in the United States is 32.69 an hour. That's sensational, bro. That's sensational. That's actually pretty good. This is sourced from ZipRecruiter.com. Um, oh, check out this Reddit real quick. Anecdotally, I was offered a job as a space vehicle operator with a salary range of 110 to 135K, and that was just as a 25S satellite communications operator in the Army, not a 5S yet. So there's that. How many years is 25? One. Is that California or Colorado? For those of you who don't know, there's four bases for the Space Force: two in California, one in Colorado, and one in Florida. Colorado is where I'm trying to go. Not because it's Reddit, but because of like the seasons and like the weather, and because California has those fires. California would be cool, but like, bro, it's just expensive. Um, and we don't talk about Florida. Um, I mean, I couldn't accept it because I was in the middle of my contract, and now since I'm transferring, I won't get out until at least 2027. I just hope they keep the same energy when the time comes. Damn. So there's potential, guys. There is potential. There's hope. What's next? There's a cyber defense. Let's just do cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. How much does cybersecurity make? As of March 29th, 2025, the average annual pay for cybersecurity specialist in the United States is 132, almost $133,000 a year. That is $63.92 an hour. That is basically double the other one we were looking at. Space systems operator. But again, that's just average. That's just average. All right, and then now let's do. Does an all source intelligence. Guys, I'm not good at keyboards. I think I gotta learn how to get better at a keyboard to get these jobs. Analyst make over 100K. Average annual salary in the United States of 106K. Salaries can range from 94K to 116K. Guys, if you get on your shit and you get these jobs, you can live good outside the military, guys. Um, we got off track with that. Produces intelligence materials in accordance with intelligence tradecraft standards, prepares, maintains, and presents intelligence displays, reports and briefings, discovers, compiles, evaluates, researches, disseminates intelligence information, provides cyber intelligence planning and operation support to cyberspace and computer network operations. Um, there's a lot of words on here. Let me just read the summary on here. Produces situation estimates, adversary assessments, and other intelligence reports and studies. Train military personnel on collecting and reporting requirements, recognition, and procedures. Assess offensive and defensive weapon system capabilities. Prepare, maintain, and present intelligence displays, reports, and briefing. Office shit, bro. Office shit. Minimum general score of 46. Wait. Minimum ASVAB score to join the Space Force. An AFQT score of 31 to 36, but job specific scores typically range in the 60s. Okay. Um, so for this one, guys, no speech disorder or noticeable communication deficiencies. Let's just look up some speech disorders. Speech disorders. Stuttering, apraxia, dysarthria, articulation disorders, phonological disorders, disfluency, voice disorders, or resonance disorders. Okay. Oh, I didn't even check to see how long you guys got to do these. Oh, it does tell you which one you have to go to. So if you're going in as an all source intelligence analysis analyst, it's 5.5 months at Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas. Let's just look this up. Let's look at some pictures. Holy. What the fuck? Okay. I want to see if I can do the view thing. You know what I'm talking about? Where like you place the little guy on there and it lets you see. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So it's 5.5 months at Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas. Followed by Warfighter ISR formal training at Peterson Space Force Base, Colorado. Holy, that's a lot. Um, let's just double check for the other guys. So Space Systems Operator, 75 days at Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Okay. And Cyber Operations is 2 to 4 months at Keesler Air Force Base, Missouri, based on speciality. There's a lot of intelligence analyst jobs, by the way. As you can see, we have all source intelligence analysts, signals intelligence analysts, targeting analysts, and geospatial intelligence analysts. A lot of information. So everything else that is on here is not on this website. So what I'm going to do is I'll try to do a debrief, like a brief summary of all the different jobs that are on here that aren't on here, and then I'll just do a debrief on the ones that are on here that we didn't go over already. So there's 5C031R, which is radio frequency and satellite communication. Understand and employ concepts of electromagnetic spectrum theory. What the fuck? EMS. What is that? Hold the phone. What is that? What is electromagnetic spectrum theory? Includes a wide range of frequencies and types. So this one says theory, but the answers that I'm getting on here aren't theories. It's just what is electromagnetic spectrum. So radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, yada yada. Okay. Understands RF spectrum distribution and utilization, including radio frequency, wireless, line of sight, beyond line of sight, wideband, narrowband, and ground-based satellite communications. So it's just like radio wave stuff, hence the name. You're just installing and repairing and understanding communication equipment and stuff like that. So it's just good comms. That's what it is. It's just comms. Manages satellite and telemetry communications equipment and program. Yeah, so it's a bunch of like deploying, maintaining, and understanding radio and communication stuff between satellites and radio towers, I assume. There's that. Network transport systems. This one's short, so I can read it. Deploys, upgrades, configures, installs, and maintains both inside and outside plant cabling, voice and video systems / circuits, and long-haul comm systems that are the backbone of military, federal, and commercial networks. Oh. Let's look up radio communication specialist. Radio communication specialist. Salary. 61,000 per year. Not bad. To 73 on average for radio telecommunication specialist. What about satellite communication specialist? 100,000 a year on average. Satcom. Dude, these jobs set you for life. It doesn't say on here like where you'll go for basic training or for advanced individual training for these ones that aren't listed on the website. But I'll share what I can whenever I get the information. But yeah. Anyways, back to network / transport systems. Install, configure, test, operates, and maintains and manages networks and their firewalls, including all hardware. Some other stuff. Yada yada yada. What else? So there's also the Space Force Honor Guard. It says you must qualify for other U.S. Space Force SFSCs. I don't know what SFSCs are. But this is like a whole separate thing. But the last major job is a cryptologic intelligence analyst. It's too much for me to read. So I'm done with these papers. I don't want to read a lot on these. It's kind of boring. I'm gonna do it on my own time. It's on this cool website. Intelligence analyst. Let's do a side by side of all these intelligence jobs and see like what the difference is. Because I truly do not understand the difference. So this one is specifically all source. It is all source. Pursue intelligence order, blah, 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 blah. That are based on all available sources of intelligence collection information. So I think this one's just like a general thing, and then these other jobs are like specific. You know what I mean? Intelligence analysts. Many of our country's greatest threats reside in cyberspace as bad actors try to extract critical information unseen to the untrained eye. Intelligence analysts are expertly trained to identify, target, and decipher these complex problems to ensure intelligence operations are accurate, efficient, and secure from outside threats. Their critical thinking is vital in deciphering time sensitive information to support our global operations and key decision makers. Right off the bat, it's way more enjoyable reading these descriptions on this badass website than on this plain piece of paper. Um, Sorry if I'm snoozing you guys. Just got home from work and, well, as of now, didn't just get off from work, but like, long day, not really feeling the best. Something's wrong with my stomach. You know how it is. Um, what they do, exploit global communications. Hold up. I'm too tired to figure out the difference between these. Y'all can figure it out. Exploit global communications to support computer network operations, collect, identify, and exploit appropriate communications to ensure accurate targeting, recover and correlate technical, geographical, and operational intelligence information, author time sensitive author time sensitive intelligence reports to meet established guidelines, produce technical products and intelligence reports as required. Huh. Okay. This one's a minimum general minimum score of 46 and no speech disorders or noticeable communication deficiencies. And this one is 3 months at Goodfellow Air Force Base in Texas, followed by Joint Cyber Analysts Analysis course at NAS Pensacola Corey Station. Let me look this up. Oh, Naval Air Station, Corey Station, Pensacola Corey Station. Where is it located? Map. Oh, Pensacola, but where's Pensacola? Florida, guys. Florida chat. Florida chat. Jesus. Followed by Space Warfare ISR formal training at Peterson Space Force Base, Colorado. So it's followed by. There's a lot of work to this one. So this one training, you're gonna be in Texas, and then you're gonna be in Florida, and then you're gonna be in Colorado. So for training, you're gonna be in a lot of different states. But yeah, signals intelligence analyst. Oh, let's look up intelligence analyst salary. Intelligence analyst salary. So on average, it's 36,000 a year, but the top paying companies will pay you at least 110,000 a year. The National Air Force and Space Intelligence Center will pay you 114,000 on average a year. Facebook will pay you 100 and 1 point. What am I doing? $141,000 a year. This is tight. All right. Signals intelligence analyst. As technology rapidly evolves, our methods of gathering and deciphering information must always stay steps ahead. Signals intelligence analysts work at the forefront of this endeavor, extracting and analyzing foreign communication and activity through electromagnetic emissions. They report their findings to appropriate commanders to promptly combat unusual activity in critical situations. Um, Psychoanalyze this. So this is when you're working on extracting and analyze foreign communications and activities through electron. So you're like a spy kind of. It's kind of cool. As I'm reading these, I don't know if it's the sleep deprivation or what, but all these deadass actually seem cool. I was looking like uninterested in some of these. I was like, I want this one, and I want this one, like because they sounded the coolest. But as I'm reading, I'm like, they all seem kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Operate equipment and computer systems to exploit signal intelligence, manipulate and extract intelligence data from electromagnetic emissions, use classified reference materials to interpret and analyze signals, update national databases with findings, exploit signals to support electronic warfare (EW) and information technology operations, use graphic and electronic analysis to distinguish communication structures, extract intelligence, and determine usage, produce tactical, strategic, and combat intelligence reports. A minimum general score of 72. Hey, not gonna lie, I qualify for all these jobs, bro. Just ASVAB score alone, I qualify for all these jobs, bro. I'm feeling like big dog. No record or history of temporomandibular joint pain or disorder. Let's look this up. This is an image. Let's look this up. Temporomandibular. Yeah. Also known as TMJ, connects your jawbone to your skull. So this little thing right here. It allows for movement like chewing and speaking. Okay. So you can't have any pain in that part of your mouth. Probably because you have to talk a lot. Successful completion of a polygraph test. That's the lying one, right? I think it is. But we're just gonna double check. It's the lying machine, yeah. Successful complete. Okay, background check. So this one you probably also won't. You probably also need to not have a speech disorder as well. But this one's just very specific. This one's 5 months at the Goodfellow base in Texas, followed by the Warfighter formal training at Colorado's Peterson Space Force Base. Signals intelligence analyst, salary. $36 a year. But oh, it's the same as the intelligence one. Targeting analysis. Clear vision is crucial on land or in space. Our targeting analysts manage, supervise, and develop targeting intelligence to analyze targets and defend against potential threats. They also build, plan, and evaluate targeting solutions to achieve commander objectives and meet precise strike recommendations and battle damage assessments. So this one's more of like the combat side, kind of like you're probably not actually dead as in the battlefield, but it's like you're telling them like what to do to go and like attack people, pretty much like where to strike. Support, vet, and validate target development and system analysis, conduct target list management and priorities, support multi-domain mission planning, utilize targeting intelligence to analyze potential targets, conduct threat vulnerabilities assessments, assess dependencies, vulnerabilities, and infrastructure dependencies, develop products and database information, perform battle damage assessment (BDA) and munitions effectiveness assessments (MEA). Re-attack recommendations. Minimum average ASVAB score of 64. Knowledge of basic imagery interpretation principles, techniques, and procedures for imagery expectation. I had to take a test where I had to analyze like like different pictures of shapes, and it's like what is the missing pattern? And it was like sometimes it was really weird. I think that's what this test was for this job. Completion of targeting analyst course, knowledge of the use of geospatial data, normal color vision, meet required depth perception standards. That's interesting. And yeah, everything else is the same. 6.5 months at Goodfellow, Texas Air Force Base, followed by space warfighting at the Colorado Space Force Base. Um, Honestly, I mean, I'll look it up, but I don't think there's going to be any jobs in the civilian world for targeting analyst job. Yeah, no, no. All right, last one. Geospatial intelligence analyst. Some of our most critical intelligence requires spotting minuscule details in aerial imagery, responsible for analyzing imagery from satellites, remotely driven vehicles, and more. Geospatial intelligence specialists identify unusual activity and possible threats. They manage and perform a wide range of activities to exploit, develop, and disseminate multi sensor equipment to achieve commander objectives. Commander objectives. Oh, like objectives your commander wants you to do. Okay. Exploit and analyze multi-sensor imagery and geospatial data. Analyze terrain and structures to determine usability and possible threats. Utilize maps to determine location and distance from target. Prepare and present intelligence reports. Compile and maintain imagery in target folders. Research and analyze multi-sensor imagery, geospatial data, and products. Perform targeting support for development and combat assessments. So, from reading off these lists, I think the jobs I want the least are the targeting analyst, just because it doesn't transition to civilian life that much. And also, like I'm actively like being like, yo, this is where we should attack to like attack people, which, like I said, I didn't really want to do. And then this one because it's like talking about maps and stuff, which I mean, it's like it's cool, it's all right, but it's like everything else seemed way better. Minimum score of 66 on the ASVAB. Um, Knowledge of basic and advanced imagery interpretation principles, techniques, and procedures, normal color vision, required depth perception standards, and yeah, 4.5 months at Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas, followed by the warfighting thing at Colorado. All right. Well, those are all the jobs for Space Force enlisted side. Like I said, I'll upload these um, after I'm done editing the video. My minor editing. Um, and yeah, hopefully, you know, you guys weren't too bored. If you guys were bored, hopefully you guys were bored enough to fall asleep and get that good sleep, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna read some Spawn comic books, play a little bit of games, and probably hit the hay at D&D in 12 hours. So that'll be fun. And yeah, catch y'all later. Peace out, bro.